Hi, my name is Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here at Colossal Con 2018 with my good pal, Miss Mica Burton, and her good pal, Miss Jerry. How you doing?
Hi, fine, thanks.
Alrighty, so just to give a quick rundown, how'd you guys both get started in entertainment? Who wants to start first?
I'll start. So entertainment in general, my dad's in the entertainment industry, my mom's in the entertainment industry, and it was hard not to be a nerd growing up because we were just surrounded by nerd culture. So I got started very, very, very early with Pokemon before I could read, and it just kind of escalated from there, I guess, and I tripped and wound up in cosplay.
And that would be Sailor Moon. Once I realized I could be the thing I idolized when I was a kid, I was done for.
I say I started off with Gundam Wing and Sailor Moon as well. So I was a Toonami kid as well. So you guys both have a love for anime since you were very, very young. What was what series other than Pokemon or maybe Sailor Moon drew you guys really truly into the fandom and into the series?
So Sailor Moon was my first anime as well as Pokemon, I guess, but Ranma 1/2 was my first manga.
That's another good one.
I found it in my middle school library, and it was the only manga series that we had, and I didn't know what it was. I was confused as to why it read backwards, but I bought the entire series, I started watching the anime, and then I became president of my anime club for the next, 4 years. Yeah, I was a super nerd.
That would be actually a vague one. That's Kamikaze Kaito Jien, which is a manga about reincarnation, Jonah Arc, and then Final Fantasy X-2 AMVs.
John actually knew your obscure one. Yeah. So this one's more for Mica. You learned how to sew from your grandmother. What was it like to learn from her? And Jerry, maybe there was someone you also were taught by. So what was it like to learn from these people and then have that connection with them?
So my grandma, the way that I always connected with her is she would knit me things. That was her thing. She was that stereotypical grandmother that had the cookie tin with sewing supplies in it. And I remember she always tried to get me to knit, but it was so mundane for me, so I never knit. But one day when I discovered what cosplay was, I asked her to teach me how to sew, get this, a Black Butler cosplay.
Yes.
I wanted to be Ciel in Wonderland, and she freaked out because she's like, this is finally my moment to teach this child who's been so indignant how to sew. And she gave me the best crash course. I have a million sewing machines in my house. Whenever she comes over, she's always like, what did you make? I want to see what you're doing. And every time I tackle something or I text her, and she's super proud of me. And so she's really the one that taught me. And then at school, as a theater major, I took patterning and drafting classes because we have a costume shop down the hall. So that really helped me learn how to do all of this nonsense.
I'm boring. I taught myself.
Oh, wow. Okay, show off, whatever.
Actually, we're friends with CL.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're actually friends with Brina. So she's... Yes, I actually am friends with Sebastian. Here's a fun story. J. Michael Tatum and I'm straight, but every once in a while I get a little fun with Tatum on camera. So I go, hey, sweetie, how you doing today? So he goes, I'm just being your butler for the day. He's a lot of fun. So, yeah, you might want to watch those interviews. So, again, Jerry, unfortunately, I didn't know where you went to college, but Mica went to the University of Michigan. And what was it like to go to a well-known school and get a lot of hands-on learning from very professional people in theater and sewing and all that type of jazz? What was it like for you? And Jerry, why don't you about your college experience?
So I got an actual legitimate BFA in acting, and I went to a conservatory program, so it was the teachers that I had were actually still working. So my stage combat professor was still in a stunt show at Universal because he was one of the greatest stage combat people in the world. He's crazy. It's obscene. And all of my professors were like, sorry, we can't have office hours. I'm in a show in Chicago this weekend. And it's okay.
No big?
No, that's casual, but it was and we had amazing voice actors and actors from generations ago come and give us master classes, and it was one of the most lucky experiences to do something that I love but have it be so intense. I mean, I got no sleep. I was always working. I was always in class. And then to be able to, like I said, go to a costume shop and learn how to draft my own stuff, and I know how to build sets. I know how to work a soldering iron because I worked in a set shop, so that's going to come in handy for cosplay someday.
It will.
It will. I feel like my whole college experience was to get me to be a better cosplayer, which sounds really silly because I got a degree to dress up like an anime character.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll take it,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, no, I'm very lucky to have been able to go to University of Michigan. Also, every time I wear an M somewhere, somebody across the street will scream "Go Blue" at me, and it just makes you feel like warm and fuzzy.
I was to say, you're in the deep heart of Ohio.
Listen, I'm in the deep heart of Ohio, proudly a Wolverine. Like, I'll fight somebody. Like, I will 100% fight an Ohioan.
I mean, I went to a school that had a kangaroo as a mascot. I went to the University of Akron, which it's one of only 3 female mascots in the entire NCAA.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so you're
am
fighting,
Akron.
yeah.
So happy it's kangaroo.
How about you?
I didn't get to go to Animu school. I was in sociology and criminology, but my favorite part of it at WVU over in West Virginia was finding all these people in my field and other things like that had the same interests as me. And it was like I had a tiny Sailor Moon keychain on my bag, and that sparked a conversation and things like that. So that's a little valuable aspect. And thanks to someone who has a lot of school spirit, I get to inherit the Go Blue, even though I didn't go here, because I wear one of her jackets and I'd be in an airport and I'll hear it in passing and be like, wait, they're talking to me. So, yeah.
Alrighty, now both of you are very lovely ladies and have been very much part of the LGBT community and giving it a strong voice to speak about issues. Do you feel that the anime and gaming community has allowed you to do that? And also, do you feel that the community still has a lot to learn about LGBT community issues that maybe you would like to share? What maybe we all need to learn a little bit more about?
Well, I say this all the time. Literally, the community and anime itself is the reason that I think we're dating, to be very fair, because of cosplay and because of anime. Like, my pickup line on her was like, do you want to cosplay Sailor Moon with me?
My pickup line was Sailor Uranus selfies.
Exactly. So she sent me selfies of her in cosplay, and I was like, oh my God, we should cosplay together. That's so crazy. Oh my God. And it's like, so having that avenue I'm very lucky, because if I was just some random theater major and she was some random psych major, I don't know if we would ever cross paths, especially because our photographer friend introduced us. So even so, that's even more into the community, and I feel like it's a lot more open in the anime community than it is in the rest of the world, I would say. But I don't think that any community ever out there is 100% off the hook for learning.
Right.
I think one of my mottos is you can never stop learning. Right. I still go to acting classes, and I have an acting major.
Right.
No one knows everything. We can all be more tolerant, and I feel like that's just a takeaway, is if you think you're at the top of your heap of learning, you're not. Go out there, learn a new perspective, listen to somebody's story that you thought you'd never listen to, find a deeper path, because there's always deeper to go.
And I mean, I got my confidence from those masculine looking, kind of charming female characters like Haruka, and then there's some idols that I really came to grow into, and that's just a nice little valuable thing. And it's grown from something we didn't really think about in passing, again, like Sailor Moon and all that stuff like that. You look at these couples, you look at all that, and it made it so I didn't question it. It's not something I thought of or thought negatively about or anything like that. I'm just like, oh, okay, they're together. And it grew that acceptance for me, and it was natural.
I think another conversation that I had with somebody on Twitter that you kind of reminded me of, we were cosplaying kind of Utena Sailor Moon crossover, and somebody said that when I captioned the picture, a prince and a princess, they're like, okay, but Haruka's a girl. And I'm like, yes, but a girl can still be a prince.
Yes.
And that's literally the whole point of Utena, a girl can be a prince as well. And I feel like it's just something like that even something as so simple as that lesson comes from anime.
Yes.
And that's amazing. And I love that that's a lesson that I can teach people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Honestly, listening to it, I'm really happy to hear you guys talk about it. I'm learning just as much as well, so thank you again. I mean, I still, and John will agree with me, I still have a lot to learn about our own community, and there's still a lot of generalization and stereotyping, but it takes time, I think, is the other key word to use, and it just takes time for people to learn more and accept more. So the barriers will eventually be broken, but it just takes time, and it's really, honestly, I'm freaking out in my head right now talking to you. Now, again, for you ladies, are there any upcoming projects you want fans to know about at this time that you can share? Because we know about pesky NDAs. I love that face.
I feel like I've signed 50 NDAs since I've moved back to LA, and I'm so angry about it because she knows all of it.
Yeah.
But I can't.
She's there with
me, but I can't talk about any of it, and I'm so mad.
But we craft.
Yes.
Got some crafting things
Yes,
coming
we have amazing crafting things coming on.
Yeah, we're distracting you.
Our next con that we will be at together is going to be Anime Expo, and we are debuting some amazingly elaborate cosplays there.
I like interesting fabrics, and I am an absolute nut for fancy trims. That I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use this, and guess what? You're gonna hand sew it.
Yeah, so I've been enslaved as a hand sewing slave for about a week.
There's no machine for this one.
No, not for any of it. But
It'll be pretty.
It'll be super pretty. So we're excited about that. I'm just gonna say, watch my space because I have a lot of exciting announcements coming up about my career path and where I'm going. And I feel like this first month that I've been home in LA has already culminated in some amazing things.
I know.
And my Patreon is still up and running and going well. And since we hit our first 2 goals in the next, I'm hoping, few months, but Hawaii never really gets cold, I'm getting a silicone mermaid tail. My friend Dallas will be shooting it underwater. So pretty stoked about that. But that's literally all I can talk about. But check out my Patreon.
I was going to say, because our other interviewer, Reiko, actually is a mermaid. Yeah. So
We need to obviously connect.
yeah, we will. So again, other than Patreon and Twitter and Twitch, where else can we follow you lovely ladies online? And a message you want to get to everyone, no matter where you've gone in your career and life, has given you love and support. What would you like to say to them?
All right, so I'll do the plugging first and then the inspirational message, so the inspirational message doesn't feel cheap. You can find me at pretty much everything is Mica Burton, like Instagram, Mica Burton, Twitter, Mica Burton, Patreon, Mica Burton, Store Envy, where I'm going to be stocking even more prints, is going to be Mica Burton. And inspirational message is, I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, you can never stop learning. Always go out there, seek stories, seek love, seek entertainment, seek knowledge, and the more you learn, the more you'll have the capacity to love in your heart, and we can all use a little bit more happiness in this world. So thank you for also being a part of my happiness.
And just clinging on to that, a lot of her content and stuff, I'll just be kind of tail fishing onto because I don't have the time to do anything privately, and I enjoy it so much more with her. So I hope to be able to play video games, and we'll have some prints out together and all of that fun stuff. But my message is, after that, is that love you get from everything, it never loses value, even if it's from a cartoon or something like that. The people you've met through this, they still count, and you have those relationships forever, and you have those values, and just cherish them for what they are.
Again, ladies, it's an honor to meet both of you. I've been freaking out in my head almost all week for you guys. So thank you yet again for a lovely interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.